Another time in Bombay during this period, this devotee brought two of these Swami Narayan sannyasis to see Prabhupada. And in the Swami Narayan, a sannyasi is never allowed to look even at the face of a woman. If they do, they have to fast the next day. So it's like in the temples, the Swami Narayan temples, the women are behind a curtain that no one can see beyond that curtain. They have to just listen from the other side. So we brought them up to Prabhupada's room, and at the time, he was in the room with Jasomati Nandan and Jasomati Nandan's elderly mother. I mean, the woman must have been 70 years old. She was just an old, wrinkled Indian woman. And Prabhupada was talking with her. And so the two sannyasis, we open the door and they look and they see this old woman and they cover their faces and, they became very disturbed. So we said, well, we'll just wait, Prabhupada will be finished soon and then you can. So they went back downstairs and they waited in this room, and then the woman came out and we went upstairs again. And I told Prabhupada, I said, the Swami Narayan sannyasis are here and they have a rule in their parampara never to look at the face of a woman when you take sannyas. So they saw Jasomati Nandan's mother, they wouldn't come. He said, okay. He said, you bring them, I will talk with them. So we brought them up, and they come and they sit in front of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada says, I'm so sorry. He was very respectful. I'm so sorry, he said, but it was one of my leading students' elderly mother who came to see me. So I gave her some of my time while he was present in the room. And my servant was here, my sannyasi servant. They said, oh, but we do not see. All right, he said. Lord Chaitanya was very strict, I understand. So then Prabhupada started to ask them questions about their religion. And immediately, the confrontation began. And they started saying that the Swami Narayan, he was God. And so he said, so where is it in Srimad Bhagavatam that Swami Narayan is God? Where is it stated Swami Narayan is coming? I have not seen. I have seen Rama, I have seen Nrsimha, I have seen Varaha, I have seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All are stated there in Bhagavatam, but where is Swami Narayan? No, it is there in this book. I don't know, what book is that? Who has written that book? It is Vedas? It is written by Vyas? No, such and such Swami. Oh, that Swami. Who is he? And what parampara he is from? And Prabhupada was showing us how to preach. And he was going on, and he was just hammering these. And he wasn't going to let them go for a second. They had tried to embarrass him by making him feel like he was less than them because he was talking to an elderly woman. And he was going to show them that he was transcendental to talking to an elderly woman because he knew the philosophy that they didn't understand. And he cut them to ribbons. And they walked out of there. It was like their heads had been in a ping pong game. They had been completely worked over. So they said, okay, well, we're going to leave, Swamiji. We've had enough now. And they got up and they walked out. And I was hysterical. I said, Srila Prabhupada, you are the greatest. I said, just see how every question, and then I started going on and on and on. And then Prabhupada said, oh, so you appreciate it? I said, yes. I was so, you just, everything that they said, you had an answer for, and you had a verse, and you said everything. He said, yes, this is the way to preach. So you like this preaching? I said, oh, yes. You're the greatest, Srila Prabhupada. No one can defeat you. You're the best. Prabhupada said, oh, so you think so. No, no, not just I think. And everyone was going there, or everyone was in the room there. Oh, yes, Prabhupada is the best. Prabhupada is the greatest. So, oh, maybe. He was just enjoying that. He was being humble, but he was enjoying the whole thing.
It was in the early 70s, and we were not only painting Krishna then, but we were painting for the Bhagavatam. So there are many incarnations. Now Krishna is very distinctive. He's blue, and he wears a peacock feather, and he has a yellow dhoti. So even if it's a bad painting, you know that's Krishna. But then there are kings like King Prithu, who is a general-looking king, as far as we know. He has a mustache. Prabhupada told us just how to paint kings, how to paint sages, like kings have no beard, but only a small mustache. And we couldn't even imagine that a king could be a Vaishnava, because we thought that only if you were a dhoti, then you're a Vaishnava. But he said kings with helmets were also Vaishnavas. So descriptions of kings like King Prithu, or ladies, Brahminical ladies like Mother Sachi, was general. There can be many Brahmin ladies who look like that. So I wrote to Prabhupada and asked, it's easy to understand that Krishna is in his picture because he's distinctive. But when you have somebody like King Prithu or Sachi Mata, how are they in their pictures? So Prabhupada wrote back that they are present by your consciousness. That is, if we're thinking that it's them, and we're painting not by concoction, but from his authorized instructions, and especially if it's in his book, then they're actually present. Sometimes we learn instructions in a positive way like that, and sometimes we learn in a negative way. Negative way means by the school of hard knocks. For example, in the early 70s, I did a painting for the cover of Adi Leela Volume 3 of the Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan party coming to the house of Chand Kazi. And I had Lord Nityananda playing a mridanga, and I painted it all in. And then I asked him, is that all right? And he said he doesn't play a mridanga. And then I had to ask him so many questions that if I was a normal reader of his books, even a normal devotee reader, I wouldn't have thought to ask. But because we had to do so many details, and not all the details were in the manuscript, we had to ask him so many questions. What does Ramananda Rai look like? How old is he? Does he have hair? Was he sannyasi? So many questions about so many of Krishna's associates and Lord Chaitanya's associates, and he would patiently answer hundreds and hundreds of questions. So Rabhavan Bhattacharya is such and such years old, and Ramananda Rai is in his 40s. One question, so-and-so wears a saffron dhoti. So many instructions like that. I asked about Lord Chaitanya's, Lord Nityananda's sannyas, and Prabhupada said he never took sannyas, so we knew then not to paint him the same way we'd paint Lord Chaitanya as sannyasi. In the original Krishna book, Prabhupada used Devahuti Prabhu's painting of Ras Leela, which she had copied from an Indian print. Very, not so realistic, a little stylistic, but very dignified, very nice. And then I thought, we were doing the third canto, and there was another description of the Rasa Leela. So I thought, well, surely I'll make a more realistic one than Devahuti did, with proper lighting and realistic folds of the cloth. And this will be so much better than Devahuti's. So we went through a great endeavor. Murali Vadana was the BBT photographer at that time. And we took about 10 or 15 devotees in a van to some park, big park in New York. And the devotees posed for the rasa dance, and the girls had their hair long, and Krishna has his hair long. And moving around, things were flowing, as we would imagine they would have been if they were dancing. And then Murali Vadana took the pictures, and it went in the book. And when Prabhupada saw the Bhagavatam, he said, "This ruined my whole book." He said, "This, you have made it like a hippie plaything, and Jadharani is a hippie rascal." He said, Devahutis was much more dignified. The Ras Leela is Krishna's smiling face. You know, the different cantos go up his body. Smiling face. And you have made it just like a plaything. So in that way we got that kind of instruction in a negative way.